Hello and welcome to Cadenza. Have you ever had a job or a chore or an assignment that you were supposed to be working on, but for whatever reason you just will not allow yourself to get to it? You will follow every path of distraction to its conclusion before you reluctantly cement yourself in place long enough to get the original task done. Songwriting should not be that way. It should not be a task that you seek to avoid, but sometimes what you start can be hard to finish, and in some ways it dogs you. Stepping away from it can be a good thing, but then it just sits over there, staring at you, wondering when you're going to finish it. My songs matter to me because they are another facet of my creativity and my creative process that I love to explore. They don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Nobody is checking on the regular to see when I'll release my next thing. I share them here both as an experiment and for personal growth. And it's sort of like a musical journal of how I accomplished something, or at least tried to. Despite my teachers and others who promoted the value of making and keeping a journal, I'm tragically bad at it. After a few pages, I find that all I've accomplished is ruining a perfectly good book that could have been used better in some other way. This is what you get. Today's song is another piece or distraction that popped up while I was working on the piece that was disrupted by last week's tune. I had a few lines of this scribbled on a piece of paper, and while I intended to work on this other thing, this came back along. I've said that when I write, it's not something that starts out with a very clear focus or intent. I don't think, today I will write about fill in the blank, and off I go to great success. More often than not, I get the kernel, a nugget of an idea, and it expands into what it is as I think it through. This one seems to be a little dark, but this is the way it presented itself. In my position of relative anonymity, I don't have to worry about whether this fits into my style or my book or whatever. Some songwriters who write outside of their genre or whatever often have to sidetrack or offload the oddities to others or use pseudonyms to cover things over so they can stay true to their fan base, whatever. I can write whatever I want, and while something might raise an eyebrow here or there, I'm pretty careful about what I share. People who know me understand a creative expression over personal declarations and such. This seems dark. I like it. I wasn't trying to be unnecessarily provocative, but the words form and you kind of watch it happen and it seems to make sense, so you kind of mentally pick up your feet and you run with it. People say you should just write. Get the stuff out. Let the ideas pour from your fingers. Let whatever happen. I have a hard time not trying to edit when I write. It slows me down for sure, but that seems to be my process. So that everything flow would leave too much to pick through, in my opinion. I would have good words heading in a good direction and then thinking I have failed the experiment if I haven't generated so many words or pages by such and such a date. I bristle at arbitrary guides and deadlines. Unless I'm under some kind of lucrative contract where certain measured objectives need to be met, I'll just keep doing things the way that works for me. So here we are, Newvember, week 3, and here is Villains and Heroes. Rules of temptation do not apply. Exaggerations exploit my eyes. Villains and heroes, they all look the same. They think I'm crazy, I think I'm insane. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Innocent motions trigger the rage, pressing my back to the bars of the cage. Pleading for mercy just falls on deaf ears. Is that someone laughing or crying I hear? Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. I'd like to go now, the damage instead, reliving all of your sins in your head, paying the penalty for your mistakes. The raping of Eden is all that it takes. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. You're on your own now. Until next time, play freely.